All right, well, Ali, I know that he's not necessarily your favorite person in the world, but it's the biggest story in the sport right now. Conor McGregor suffered a loss this past weekend. I'm just curious to get your thoughts of his loss and just kind of the whole situation around it, because it seems like everybody's talking about it right now.
The question is, I was on Mike Tyson broadcast like a month ago, and I predicted this because, listen, at the end of the day, if you become the captain of your own ship, if you become the boss of your own training, he's his own manager, he's his own trainer, he's the head coach, he's everything. When you have a whole bunch of yes people around you, he's not evolving, he's getting worse. At the end of the day, good always defeat evil, and he's an evil human being. And you can say whatever you want. Of course, I don't like the guy, but if he do something good, I'll give him credit. But how are you gonna try to kill just Dustin Poirier's wife? Like if I was Dana White, I'll find this guy $1 million. Dana should have guidelines. I know Dana said we say mean things to each other. Can you imagine, this is somebody talk about Dana's wife, or Dana don't give a shit, but in reality, it's just completely wrong because this footage is for life. It's for life. In reality, man, him and his whole entire people, they're just bad people, man, all of them, and they're delusional.
I know you're a businessman, though, you know what I mean? And you're looking out for your clients. So, do you still think about him as a potential opponent for some of your fighters? Or?
No, because fighting is, listen, money is not everything in life. Of course, we're in this business to make money. But I'm talking about, do you see what Habib was going to do to him after the fight, before the fight, during the fight, right? And the guy is like, he acts like this invisible gangster, but he's really not. He's a guy. God tests you, give you this kind of power, right? And you see what you're going to do with it. He did everything wrong with his power. Look, guys like Khabib, Dustin Poirier, Daniel Cormier, they use their power in good. They help other people. And all this guy does, hurt people. Listen, this guy has family. Like, by doing that, he's hurting his own family. Because who want to be the son of this kid? Nobody wants to be the son of someone like him. But in reality, fuck him. I don't really care about him. Listen, he's easy money. I hope he's healthy. He can come back, fight Gaethje, Islam, Banil, and it's an easy payday for everybody. He's become, like I said, he's a prostitute. Guys use him right now for hype. That's it, because he's easy money. He cannot beat anybody in the top 10 or the top 15. He cannot compete with these guys anymore. He cannot.
We'll move on from Conor because I know you got a lot of people you'd rather talk about. Gilbert Burns picked up a big win over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Not the most exciting fight ever, but a very effective fight. Where does he go next? Because he called out a lot of names. The welterweight division's a little interesting right now. What does Gilbert Burns do next?
Listen, Gilbert Burns never been in a boring fight. But listen, Stephen Thompson is a great guy. But I think he's one of the most boring guys in the UFC. Because you have to put yourself in harm's way for him to be exciting, right? He doesn't do anything, right? When the last time he's been in an exciting fight? He's a great fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's one of the most boring guys in the division. And anybody who's in the ranking, why they want to fight this guy? Because he's 40 years old. He fought for a world title 2 times. I don't think he's ever going to be a champion. He was saying he's a bad matchup for Kamaru Usman. He's crazy. Kamaru would have retired him, He's a great guy. I don't want to talk a lot of shit about him. But I personally don't like watching him fight. I'm not a fan of his fighting, but I think he's a great ambassador for the sport. He is. He's one of the best guys to be an ambassador for our sport, for sure.
Yeah. So when Gilbert gets the win, what do you think he does next? Are there matchups that make more sense than others?
You got Leon Edward out there. I think he doesn't have any matchups. You have Nate Diaz out there. I don't know if Nate really deserve it. I think the matchup make a lot of sense, Leon Edward, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no question about it. I think that would be a good one. Top contender fight. Yeah. Sean O'Malley, not your client, obviously, but he had a great win over the weekend and immediately said, you know what, I think the matchup that makes sense is Frankie Edgar at Madison Square Garden. Why do you think that's the fight that makes sense?
Listen, our sport is about young guys challenging themselves with older guys. Kamaru is a legend, former world champion, And he called everyone out except Frankie Edgar. And I kind of give him a tip online the week of the fight. I like the kid, He get a lot of criticism. I think he's a nice kid. But I think, listen, hey, Frank is in the top 5. If you want to be in the top 5 to compete with the best, that's yourself. Frankie Edgar will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. We know him, we love him. He's a legend. and you don't get this much opportunity to fight guys like Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, no question. As you said, Frankie, a legend. We haven't seen him since earlier this year. We know that Madison Square Garden is probably going to happen, not official yet, but do you think Frankie, whether he gets Sean O'Malley or not, do you think that's when he wants to fight again?
I talked to Sean Shelby today, and this is the plan. He said he's going to put him on, he's going to try to find somebody to fight him, Madison Square Garden, and when Sean always says something, he's always come through.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, well, listen, coming up this weekend, Islam Makhachev in his first UFC main event. Wasn't supposed to be, but he got the opportunity. This is a guy that you've been high on for a long time, telling people he's the next thing. What gets you so excited about this guy, and what do you think that now he's in the main event?
Listen, I've been training with Islam for eight years, you know. I see him evolve in every kind of level. He speaks English now, and he's the guy. Listen, people say it was Habib hard to fight guys to fight. No, Islam Makhachev, nobody want to fight Islam Makhachev. He's like the boogeyman, you know. But in a way, he doesn't have this kind of swagger people looking for. He doesn't talk crap. He's just a good guy, you know. But in reality, listen, him and Rafael dos Anjos fight in Abu Dhabi. Rafael dos Anjos got corona. They're supposed to fight in Vegas. Islam got them off. Now, Islam have a tough opponent. Of course, we have to beat them first. But listen, Rafael dos Anjos, he have to fight these guys. You know, he have to fight. He's not fighting Conor. You know, he's not fighting Gaethje. He's not fighting Benil. He's gonna fight Islam Makhachev, and I think this is a fight maybe the UFC interested into, and we are. And I think, listen, I'm sure somebody gave you an opportunity before, and what Rafael dos Anjos have done in the division. Yes, he's a former world champion. I respect that, but in reality, I think Rafael, you know, he's in this position to fight guys like Islam. Especially Islam is going to have 8-fight winning streak. Rafael dos Anjos have 1-fight winning streak against a guy fought him on a 4 days notice. This is what I think. I know I respect Rafael. I got no problem with him. He's a friend. But in reality, you have like Frankie Edgar want to give a chance to Sean O'Malley. Rafael dos Anjos have to give chances to a guy who have 8-fight winning streak if he win. Not looking over his opponent at all, but people have to step up and fight.
Yeah, no question. It's a big opportunity for Islam. Anybody else that you're looking forward to this weekend? I know you got a handful of people every weekend. Is there something else we need to be paying attention to this weekend?
Man, I have so many great fighters. You know, everybody, you see Kayla Harrison doing her thing. You know, I believe she's the pound for pound, the greatest fighter. A woman fighter today. I think she can beat anybody. I think she can beat Amanda. I think she can beat Cyborg. I really, truly believe she's the GOAT. Yeah. She's the future GOAT, at least.
You talked to me earlier this week, said Cody Garbrandt's definitely moving down to 125 pounds. I saw a lot of people right away say, we've heard this before. He's moving to flyweight. He's moving to flyweight. Talk to me about, you know, what's going on now that we know for sure he's committed to do this.
He's moving to 125. Most likely be on Madison Square Garden. Mick Maynard is matchmaker. He pulled the string. We talked. And I think very soon Mick will announce Cody's moving to 125. And we already have an opponent, somebody in the top 10. And try to get a win and get a title shot.
I was going to say, I think that's the question, is how fast. Do you think one win against a top 10 opponent should be enough?
Of course, he's top 5 at 135. You know, and of course, I have my guy Askar. I think Askar deserves a title shot immediately. You know, even before Cody, to be honest with you, because he's been in the division. And I'm telling you, man, Askar is a problem for everybody. And maybe he doesn't, you know, the guy can't hear. You know, he doesn't really speak because not the English because he have a deficiency. But I think he's a problem for everybody.
Very nice. Give us the latest on Zabit Magomedsharipov. I mean, we know we were supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez. That's not happening right now. Or is it? Are they trying to reschedule? What's the latest?
Listen, this is the truth. He's supposed to fight Yair 4 times. Yair pulled out 4 times. One of them, the UFC cut him because he didn't want to fight Zabit. Listen, I think everybody who's going to fight Yair Rodriguez outside Zabit, he's going to show up. I think he's been having nightmare about Zabit. But realistically now, Zabit said, I've been around the business for so many years. I have the longest winning streak in the division. I deserve a title shot. And he's getting turned off by the whole thing, you know, and I don't blame him. I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks, me and Rizwan, and we're going to talk with him in LA, his corner and his brother Hassan in Bellator. And he's going to make a decision what he's going to do, right? If Zabit, he decides tomorrow he's going to hang it up, I'm going to do that. And if he decides he want to move forward and fight, I'm going to do that too.
Man, I'd hate to see him walk away, but I understand that, you know, I guess you get frustrated, right?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, it's the name of the game, you know, but it's hard for you to do 4 training camp for one guy and it's not showing up.
Yeah, no question. All right, we know the champ, Usman and Covington too. Dana keeps saying that's the fight. I get the feeling Usman doesn't really want to see Colby anymore.
That's not true.
Is that the fight?
That's the fight. That's the fight. And listen, last time they fought, he broke his jaw, right? This fight will probably, I hope he become blind or something happened to him very badly, because he's a very bad guy. He's on the same piece of shit list of Conor. They hit the head like. I think he's a racist scumbag. I think he played a race card, but I think he really is. He insults people's religion, wife. His team talking about Dustin. He said Dustin Poirier's wife is a prop. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to say that? This guy used to train with, sweat with, eat with. How are you going to talk about him like that? And we know what last time we met him at the Palm, what happened with him. And he called the police on Werdum and myself. And listen, this is the fight. I think Dana White is right. This is the fight. He's the promoter. At the end of the day, you want Colby Garbrandt, what's his name?
Covington.
Colby Covington, drinking out of straw or not walking for a year or 2 years. Because at the end of the day, like, fighting this guy, listen, he's a decent fighter. He's not a great fighter. He's going to be there hanging out, but I believe Usman will hurt him really, really badly. Listen, Kamaru Usman is the pound-for-pound greatest fighter in the world today. It's not John Jones. It's not Israel Adesanya. It's not anybody. He's the pound-for-pound king. He's beating the whole division. And honestly, I want to see Kamaru at one point go to middleweight. I know Israel is his friend. I don't want to see him fight. But if maybe Israel, so I'm happy he's not the champ anymore. And I think he deserves it. This is what I want him to do, right? Like everything, we wrote a list. We want to become a champion, fight headline T-Mobile Arena, headline Madison Square Garden, go to Abu Dhabi, the first fight back. And I want him to become a two-division champion, and I think he can do it. I think he can beat anybody. Of course, I respect Israel. I don't want to see him fight his friend. No problem. But you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Man, how soon do you think we see that fight?
But listen, Colby Covington is a dead man. He's a dead man. He's a dead man walking. The time clock is ticking. He's going to get what he asked for very violently. I'm telling you. Kamaru Usman is not the same fighter. We've seen him improve every fight. And that's it.
Nice. Do you know when you think we see it? When does he end his career?
That's Dana White's job. I'm not the promoter. Dana going to let you guys know when it's that.
Fair.
But it's very close.
I like it. You mentioned Justin Gaethje earlier. I got to ask you, it's criminal. The man hasn't fought in 10 months. What's the update on Justin Gaethje?
Listen, I believe Justin Gaethje should be fighting Charles Oliveira next. That's what I believe. I think Dustin maybe needs to take a break, let these two guys handle. I know UFC want to make Chandler. I think Mike Chandler doesn't deserve nothing. He's one-on-one. He was knocked out in Bellator at 145. On paper, it's a great fight, but Mike Chandler doesn't deserve anything. He needs to be quiet, sit down, and if Justin decides to fight him, he will let him know. But Mike Chandler doesn't deserve anything.
Maybe Justin Gaethje can be an actor. Maybe he's pretty good in that commercial. Maybe.
Listen, he's one of the smartest people you know. He acts like he's not, but he's very smart.
Nice. I got to ask you about Rashad Evans coming out of retirement and trying to book a fight. Any word on him, on what's developing with Rashad Evans?
Listen, Logan Paul, I talked to his manager. I think they want to make this fight happen. Let's go. That's it.
Nice. Henry Cejudo, is he getting tired of retirement yet? I mean, is he ready to come back? The people are calling for it.
He's retired.
Done.
He's retired.
All right. I got to ask you about Khamzat Chimaev. There was reports, I guess, that you're not working with him anymore. I just want to get that clarification because I think there was some confusion.
Listen, I like the kid. I wish him the best of luck. Certain things happen. He's always managed by Majdi, who's my friend. I come in and assisted a couple things. Majdi now is managing him. I'm very good friend with Majdi. He's like a brother to me. Khamzat, like I said, everything I said about him is true. I wish him nothing but the best. But now Majdi is his manager. Yes, correct.
Fair enough. Fabricio Werdum, I wanted to ask you about him. Unfortunate the way the whole situation played out, but I know there was talks about maybe him fighting Fedor, maybe him doing something else. What's the update with Fabricio? What does he want to do right now?
Scott Coker, give the people what you want. PFL is already down. You down. Let's make Werdum versus Fedor next. Scott Coker is the man to pull the trigger. Because Don Davis from Bellator and Pete Murray, they said yes. Now Scott Coker needs to say yes. That's it. Simple.